The Vinewood sun beat down. It was a typical Los Santos day. Franklin Clinton was trying to enjoy it. He was at his new fancy pad, the kind of place that screamed, "I made it." Or at least, I stole enough to make it look like I made it. But peace was a rare commodity, especially when Lamar Davis was around. "This is it, homie. We gonna be richer than Solomon Richards." Lamar was lounging by Franklin's pool. He was, as usual, running his mouth, going on about some new foolproof scheme, something involving rare parrots and crypto. Franklin just sighed. He'd heard it all before. Too many times. Lamar's voice echoed across the expensive patio tiles. He was gesticulating wildly, nearly knocked over a ridiculously priced artisanal soda. "Chill? F, my dude, we on the verge of greatness. Ain't no time for chillin'." Franklin doubted it, highly. Lamar's plans usually ended in sirens, or explosions, or both. Franklin leaned back in his chair. He closed his eyes. He tried to picture a world without Lamar's constant chatter. It was a beautiful, serene image, a brief, fleeting moment of imagined tranquility, but Lamar, oblivious, just got louder. He was now standing, pacing, a true visionary, in his own mind. Franklin opened one eye. "Lamar, man, can you just chill for like 5 minutes?" It was a desperate plea, a cry for a moment's silence, but Lamar took it as encouragement. Lamar then started critiquing Franklin's choice of garden furniture. Said it wasn't gangster enough. Franklin's jaw tightened. This dude was testing him. Really testing him. He knew Lamar was just trying to get a rise out of him. It was a classic Lamar move. Annoying, predictable, yet somehow still effective. The final straw came. Lamar brought up an old story. One involving Franklin, a stolen lawnmower, and a very angry goat. A story Franklin had tried to bury deep. Lamar was cackling. Franklin felt that familiar vein throb in his temple. That was it. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more patient friend. It was roast o'clock. Lamar had poked the bear one too many times. Franklin stood up slowly, a predatory gleam in his eyes. Lamar, still laughing, didn't see it coming. He was too busy reliving Franklin's past humiliation. He was about to experience a fresh one of his own. Franklin took a deep breath. Then he let loose. "Lamar, your foolproof schemes? The only thing they're foolproof at is failing. Spectacularly." He ticked them off on his fingers. The repo business. The high-end weed delivery service that mostly delivered stems and seeds. The time Lamar tried to train squirrels to steal diamonds. Lamar's grin faltered. "Now hold on, F." But Franklin was just warming up. He was a locomotive of verbal destruction, and Lamar was tied to the tracks. "And don't even get me started on your fashion sense, man." Franklin gestured at Lamar's outfit. Some kind of neon green tracksuit, with gold chains, in the Vinewood heat. "You look like a highlighter that got mugged by a pawn shop." "This is style, homie. You wouldn't understand." Franklin just shook his head. "Nah, man, that ain't style. That's a cry for help. A very loud, very bright cry for help." He then brought up the infamous yee-yee ass haircut remark. A classic hit, still potent. Lamar was starting to look genuinely offended. His bravado was cracking. Franklin pressed on, relentless. "You talk about loyalty, Lamar, but your loyalty changes with the wind, usually when there's a dollar bill attached to it." He reminded Lamar of all the times he'd been left holding the bag, all the times Franklin had to pull his ass out of the fire. Remember that Vagos incident? Who was there, huh? Not your genius, that's for sure. Lamar was sputtering now, trying to form a comeback. But Franklin's verbal barrage was too intense, too accurate. The truth, as they say, hurts, especially when delivered with pinpoint comedic timing. The roast reached its peak. Franklin leaned in, almost conspiratorially. "Face it, Lamar, you ain't a hustler. You're a professional screw-up with an overinflated ego." He paused for effect. "Your ambition writes checks your common sense can't cash. Ever." Lamar was speechless. Actually speechless. A rare sight. He just stood there, mouth agape, looking like a fish that had just been told the ocean was a lie. The sheer volume of the argument, mostly Franklin's booming roast, had been escalating. It was loud, very loud. Vinewood Hills loud. The kind of loud that usually attracted unwanted attention. Just as Lamar was about to find his voice, a new sound joined the party. Sirens, wailing in the distance, getting closer, fast. Franklin smirked a little. He knew those sounds. LSPD. Someone must have called them. Probably one of the rich, noise-sensitive neighbors. Franklin wasn't too worried for himself. He was on his own property. Lamar, on the other hand, Lamar had a certain talent. A talent for attracting police attention, and for making any situation with them 10 times worse. This was going to be interesting. 2 LSPD cruisers pulled up outside Franklin's gate. Officers emerged, stern faces, hands on their belts. They walked onto the patio.
"We got a call about a disturbance?"
It wasn't really a question. Lamar predictably went into full defensive mode. "Disturbance? Officer, there ain't no disturbance here, just 2 homies chopping it up." He was trying to be charming. It wasn't working. He sounded shifty, even more shifty than usual. Franklin just leaned against a pillar watching the show unfold. He knew better than to interfere when Lamar was in this mode. One of the cops eyed Lamar suspiciously.
We're gonna need to see some ID, sir.
Lamar started fumbling in his pockets. ID for what? For being too eloquent for this neighborhood? Bad move, Lamar. Very bad move. The cop's eyes narrowed.
Just show us the ID, sir.
Lamar finally produced a battered wallet. The officer took it, ran his name. A small smile played on the cop's lips, not a friendly smile.
Well, Mr. Davis, looks like you have an outstanding warrant. Unpaid parking tickets, a lot of them.
Lamar's face fell. Parking tickets, the irony. Parking tickets? Are you serious? But the cops were already moving in. One of them pulled out handcuffs.
You're under arrest, Mr. Davis.
Lamar started yelling about police harassment, about his rights, about how this was all Franklin's fault. Franklin just shook his head, a mixture of amusement and exasperation on his face. The officers cuffed Lamar, dragged him, still shouting about the injustice of it all, towards the cruisers. "I'll be back, F. You ain't heard the last of Lamar Davis," he yelled as they stuffed him into the back of a car. Franklin just waved. Peace at last, or so he thought. With Lamar gone, a strange quiet descended. Franklin let out a long sigh. Victory. He had won the roast. He had survived another Lamar episode, and now he had his fancy Vinewood house all to himself. He felt a smug sense of satisfaction. He deserved this peace. He'd earned it. He walked towards his ridiculously large glass sliding doors. He was already planning his afternoon. Maybe a dip in the pool. Maybe just silence. Glorious, uninterrupted silence. Dumbass Lamar never learns. He reached for the door handle, thinking about a cold drink. Maybe he'd call Tanisha later or not. Maybe he'd just enjoy the solitude. He took a confident step. His mind was already inside, relaxing. He was the king of his castle, master of his domain. He'd outsmarted Lamar. He'd outroasted him. He was Franklin Clinton, Vinewood elite. He felt on top of the world, or at least on top of his very expensive, newly acquired part of it. Life was good. For about 3 more seconds. Then disaster. His foot caught on something small, something stupid. Chop's new, ridiculously oversized squeaky toy. A bright pink pig. It had rolled silently across the patio. Franklin hadn't seen it. He was too busy basking in his own glory. His arms flailed. He tried to regain his balance, but it was too late. Gravity, that cruel mistress, took over. He was going down. And not in a cool, action hero kind of way. This was pure, unadulterated slapstick, the kind Lamar would have found hilarious. Franklin landed with a loud, undignified splash, face first, right into one of those shallow, decorative water features he'd paid a fortune for. The one with the little lily pads. He was soaked. His designer clothes were ruined. His hair was plastered to his forehead. A lily pad was stuck to his cheek. He lay there for a moment, stunned. Then he heard it, a faint, distant sound. Chop, his supposedly loyal Rottweiler, was barking. And Franklin could have sworn it sounded like laughter. Karma. It really was a trip. And today, it had decided Franklin needed one too.